Yeah, alright. Yeah, alright. And again.
Radio Red, now we're live, but we're waiting until 7 PM before we get started. Make sure we get everyone on board that wants to be here. But we're waiting until 7. Oh, let's turn that down so we don't get super echo.
Now we're live.
Oh, yeah, can hear, you can hear your one. Alright, everyone. Well, we got a couple of people already. It's probably you and me. Kicking off, so at the moment, Red, they can just hear us yakking.
Yak! There's 4.
Got 4, have we? Oh, yeah, lovely. Alright, so we're getting started in about 4 minutes' time, thereabouts, 7 o'clock.
Stop it, you bastard.
Oh, that wasn't a yawn, that was just I made the noise.
Well, I yawned.
Oh man, look, Aussie Gamers Express Weather Channel. Still 41 degrees here, so I've got my door open into my office, which means you're probably going to hear my kid, I don't want to go to bed.
And then you hear your wife, too fucking bad.
Yeah, with a deeper voice than me. Oh dear. Oh, we got Paul. Paul Clennett is saying hello. There you go, man.
Hi,
Right.
Paul. And Robert.
Oh, Reprimere. Yeah, Reprimere's there. Hello. Eager Beavers, thank you very much for joining us early on.
BobKat, as
Yeah.
he's now formally / affectionately known.
Got BobKat too. Lovely. BobKat's actually keen. He's sent us a message with his deets in it, so we'll give him a buzz a bit later.
Naked selfies.
Got your number now. No, I must stress that everybody's contact details will be 100% private, won't be sold to any third parties or anything like that. You just might get 3 AM phone calls from Red while he's drunk.
I was about to say, by you anyway. I shouldn't be trusted.
Yeah, I'll keep it all safe, but it's all good. We did do a little bit of a rehearsal earlier, so hopefully everything is all working technically correct.
Except for the fact that you fucking started the show with a yawn.
Oh, but I didn't really. I just went.
Oh, got me going. It makes look like I'm crying. Oh, look what I found, me. And these are worth like $200 now.
What is that? Is that a PSP?
A PSP, yeah.
How'd you find a PSP?
In my son's room. I forgot. I bought it for him years ago.
Oh, right.
Very rare game. Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno on the PSP?
Yeah, and Final Fantasy Dissidia. They're $50, those 2 games.
Wow. They're all retro and stuff now. Dirty
Shit.
phone calls from Red. Paul Clennett wants dirty phone calls from you, apparently. Wahoo!
Maybe you should hit us up on Snapchat.
Well, BobKat, you let us know when you're ready and you want to jump in and have your say, and we'll organise it. So we'll wait for you, considering you've got a couple of little chores to do there, things to do as a gamer dad. Oh, wow.
Oh, I've got to make my own coffee. Wee.
No, that's me. That's me when the wife's not home.
Oh, speaking of which,
Oh,
your
mate.
daughter will be old enough to do it soon.
Oh, I don't trust her with boiling hot water. She's
Not
klutz.
yet.
She puts the kettle on for me.
I trust my daughter. What, she's grade 6, so whatever that is, 13-ish, 12, 11, I don't know. Old enough to make coffee.
I don't know. You don't know how old your daughter is. Anyway, dude, it's 7 o'clock. You want to kick off?
Okay.
Alright, let's do it. Alright, Aussie Gamers Express Live, Rage Live. We are live now. Well, we've been live for a couple of minutes, but whatever. The screen now says we're live. So, I was thinking, well, first of all, Red, we might... what are you smiling at?
Robert says, and she's got a heavily pregnant wife who is turning into a Dark Souls boss as we speak. That's fucking hilarious.
I hope she's not listening to us repeat this out. I don't know. Righto, so we might just explain what our agenda here is, because that's important to know. So what we want to do here is it's kind of like the podcast, but a different segment where we're just going to talk about different topics. We're going to discuss them, and slightly different, of course, to the podcast. This is live, not pre-recorded, so we are going to involve our listeners. So those of you that are keen and want to send us your contact number, mobiles are the best, or whatever is best for you, though, send us that to like a private message on our Facebook page, and comment in the stream that you'd like us to give you a call, and we'll do our best to get you on the line, and we'll let you have your say, and we'll have a bit of a chat as well. Get to know some new people, hopefully, and you guys can have your say. It might be a little bit off-putting for some people. It is live and going out to a few people, but we don't have millions of people listening or anything like that. It's going to be quite intimate. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, man. We are on our way to the top. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting experiment, so to speak.
Social experiment.
A social experiment, that's right. So if you've got friends that might be interested, let them know. Get them in on it. Let's get as many people. Yeah, exactly. So, shall I read out the first little topic we're going to talk about, Red?
As long as it's okay with Robert's wife.
Rob, is your wife good? She's good. She's a Dark Souls boss. She's going to wait in the den. We can't refer to his wife as a Dark Souls boss. Let him do that. We're not allowed to do that. Yes. All right. The first topic that we're going to talk about is, what do you tell people that tell you that video games are a waste of time, or that they're for children? They can't see you, Red. Your video's not up.
Oh, isn't it?
No.
Jog on.
No, this video thing's being temperamental, but just tell us.
It's like telling anybody that any of their hobbies is a waste of time or a waste of money. Someone that plays golf. Look, I don't particularly partake in that much physical activity in a month, let alone 18 holes. That could be construed as a waste of money and a waste of time. It's just as expensive, if not more expensive, and as time consuming for a round as it would be us sitting down for a few games. So if someone's going to make that sort of comment, they're obviously uneducated to the point of what video games actually do for the likes of us, and how it de-stresses us, and it's I don't know, it's a hobby. It's one of our favourite pastimes, so I get offended. Hashtag triggered.
Yeah, me too. And I will get nasty if I need to.
Oh yeah, well, you know me. I'd just tell them to get fucked.
Well, what I would say, and now for those of you that may have missed what we're talking about, this is what we're going to tell people that tell us that video games are a waste of time, or video games are for children. And my response to that is, and I start off by asking them a question. Well, what do you do in your free time? And they may say, I read books. Or they may say, I go out with my friends. Or they may say, I go to the gym. And I would say to them, all right, well, look, you read books. Where do you find the time to read books? You know, and they say, oh, well, because I find the time because it's relaxing. And then I go straight back to, well, that's exactly what video games are for me. I find the time because it's relaxing. Who do you read books with? Oh, what do you mean? You don't read books with anyone. You read books on your own. I said, well, that's a little bit, antisocial, don't you think? Oh, yeah. No, I'm broadening my horizons. I'm learning new things. What books are you reading? 50 Shades of Bullshit? And then when you're reading 50 Shades of I'm a boring son of a bitch. Well, you drinking a wine as well? 3 bottles of wine? Are you an alcoholic? Why is it so offensive to you that I sit down and play video games for a few hours with up to 6 of my mates at the same time, sometimes more, socialising, having a good time with friends, not drinking alcohol, not going out and getting wasted, not getting arrested by the police, not doing anything illegal, but having a good time, de-stressing and relaxing and having a good time with some friends? How is that different to what you do with the fact that I'm not destroying my body by drinking copious amounts of alcohol while doing it and getting kicked out of pubs left, right and centre and all that sort of stuff? Why is that such a bad thing?
Yes. Or get fucked.
Or get fucked.
But I'm with you. So I don't mind destroying my body with copious amounts of alcohol when the time comes.
Yeah, well, there is a time and a place, but some people do that every night. Robert and Paul, no, there is no video. It's just a static screen at the moment. It's like a podcast. You're just going to listen to us. Think of the radio like a drive show, if you will. But there's no real. We can't get on the radio, so this is our radio.
Hi, Ross.
Paul, you're 51 and gaming to me is like movies to others. So there you go. Like, you know, some people may go to a movie once a week or watch a movie on TV before bed. You know, we don't watch the movie. That's sometimes 2.5, 3 hours. We play a video game instead. And, you know, people usually shush you while you're watching a movie, but we encourage chatting and talking throughout playing a game for cooperation and stuff like that. So it's a social thing.
Very healthy too, especially for Paul just brought up he's 51. Well, while we're in our 30s, we've developed a relationship with the medium of video games, but we can now talk to each other and de-stress, and we've got that outlet where we don't bottle stuff up as a typical male would. Yeah,
so that's how I handle it. I basically throw it back in their face and say, well, look, you do this, I don't do that. When you're doing that, I'm playing video games. And at the same time, I'm not coming over to you and saying, read books? You read books? How boring is that? Because that's boring for me. I can't concentrate on a book. I'll read a book and I'll go, wow, this is really interesting, but I could be playing a video game instead. And that's what goes through my mind. My mind starts wandering on all the things that I could be doing instead of reading. And then I've read 4 pages and have absolutely no idea what happened. No idea what I just read. So, yeah, that's how I generally like to handle it. Is anybody listening? Would anybody like to get in on this? Who's a nerd? Thanks, Kyle. Would anybody like to get on this and have their say? Jump in on the show, give us your number and we'll give you a call. If we do go past the topic you want to comment on, doesn't matter. Jump in. If you say, yeah, give us a call. Don't put the phone number in the chat. Send us it as a private message. We'll give you a buzz and you can have your say. If we've got to backtrack into an old topic that we've moved on from, not a problem at all. That's fine. Just send us your contact details and we'll get you in on the show and you can have your say. Eric Mason says, just closed-minded, ignorant people if they can't see the benefits of casual gaming. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, totally agree. 'Cause it's just because something isn't your cup of tea, so to speak, it doesn't mean that it's shit. I don't think reading is terrible. It's just not for me because I can't concentrate. Unless it is like absolutely super duper up my alley, the topic of whatever it is to read, I can't read it. As much as I'd probably like to, it's just my concentration goes out the window and it's no good for me. But you can't bash on somebody else's passion. You end up looking like an asshole.
You often find that people that give you the shit like that and hang shit on you are bloody Netflix binge watchers that do a season in 2 days.
Well, there's that too. They've spent as much time that we spend on video games, if not more, just sitting there staring at the bloody screen while we're actually interacting with it and talking with our friends at the same time. Like with the current generation, not so much last gen because really it was only Xbox 360 that had a decent chat service. But yeah, while we're doing all that, we're talking to our friends, getting to know people. So it's a little bit more interactive and a little bit more food for the mind. But at the same time, I'm not going to knock people that watch Netflix, because I do enjoy a good Netflix flick. I just finished watching Gotham Season 2 today. Absolutely amazing. Let's see, we've got a couple of questions in here.
There's no video. I threw the horns up. That Season 2 was sick.
Oh, yeah, you got to speak, man. I can see you, but they can't see you.
Sucked in.
Kyle Williams wants to know, do we play Call of Duty Zombies? Do you still play that, Red?
Xbox One, I do.
Mm-hmm. I don't, but you can, if you on the Xbox, if that's what you're after, Kyle, hit Red up. We've also got here, Paul says it's why he was enjoying Mafia 3. Great story. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things.
That's a very unique, not unique as in never seen before, but a very, very well delivered narrative. The way it was portrayed and delivered, go figure, with current, like present, past, and how the characters interacted between how they were in the past and how they are in the present. That's why the narrative to Mafia 3 was so good. I think it was the delivery method. The narrative had probably a few little plot holes here and there, and probably wasn't like Oscar winning sort of stuff, but its delivery method was something that was a little bit different and made it a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, look, I still haven't played it, but I keep hearing bad things about it. Like, I've heard that the game's broken. Dude, can you clarify that a bit?
No, that's not broken. I don't think it's broken. It wasn't broken when I played it, and they probably only had a few updates in the meantime to smooth some things over.
Okay, yeah, well, it's sort of, not that that's the reason why I haven't played it. I've just had a lot of other things that I'd prefer, but I will get on to Mafia 3 eventually, but I haven't played it yet. But yeah, so if that's all sort of said and done, nobody seems to be wanting to give their details as per yet. Well, we're waiting on BobKat, but I think he was a little bit busy, if I got that right. But we'll wait for him. Do you want to move on to the next topic?
Yes.
All right, let us know if you want to go back to a topic, anyone that's listening or wants us to call. Virtual reality is nothing more than a passing fad, just like 3D televisions. What do you reckon?
Lock it in, Eddie. Affirmative.
Oh, you think so?
Probably because I haven't had the experience with them like you and a couple of the other fellas have had, but I don't know whether it is a passing fad. I think it's a little before its time. Now, if you take Resident Evil 7 out of the equation, there's fuck all longevity in any games that are purchasable on the store at the moment. And other than Resident Evil 7, I don't think there's any virtual reality games you can buy physically either.
No, well, look, yeah, if, like you said, Red, if we do take Resident Evil 7 out of the equation, I'm really worried for PlayStation VR. VR in general, look, the PlayStation VR is the only one I've tried, but yeah, taking out a full AAA release like that one that does work really well, yeah, I'm actually really worried that it is just a passing fad. But Resident Evil 7 gives a bit of hope, because it is a full-length game, and I played it thinking I would only play like a couple of hours and then switch back to the TV, but I couldn't. I loved the VR so much that I couldn't turn it off. I played the whole damn game in VR because it was so immersive. I felt like I was missing out if I played it on the TV.
Yeah, look, so passing fad, probably not, but still quite an expensive venture at the moment for very little comeback, if you know what I mean. There's very little to do. Well, what, $700 to set up properly? Camera, if you don't have a camera or move controls?
On its own?
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
No, so one AAA title, and we're, 3 months into the lifespan of the VR?
Yeah.
So, it's got a lot of titles like I thought it would have. Like we've just had a review put up on the website for Lethal, which is like the FBI training camp. And so obviously that FBI, that's just a step up from there's like the Wii Party, the game they give you, isn't there? It's got like 5 different things you can do.
Yeah.
So the VR room or whatever it is, I'm not too sure what it's called.
Well, there's the VR Playroom or Playroom VR, and then there's also the demo disc.
Yeah, so they've just really built on what's already been present with those. Though the Eve series, EVE, like the Valkyrie and Gunjack, and this looks like they're building a little mini series of all VR related games within the one universe or one setting, if you will. So that looks pretty cool.
They need to keep supporting it. Let's just go to the comments. Paul reckons that VR will be a fad.
PlayStation VR, most likely, but it'll always have a place on a high-end PC.
Well, Paul says he sells the HTC Vive at work, and there's not enough killer apps to make people pay out the dollars. That's the thing. If they do what Microsoft did with Kinect, it's as good as dead. But if Sony refused to let it die and continue pushing support, and we get good full AAA games, then I think it will survive. Because I've played it. Now, I played the Kinect, and as much as I liked the Kinect, after a little while of using it, like, and I'm talking about Kinect 1, I grew tired of it because the games weren't immersive. The games were party games. There was nothing in there full scale. You know, the only thing that Kinect brought to AAA games was the odd voice command, and they never brought in any of the actual gestures that were suggested, like throwing grenades or, you know, gestures to other teammates. None of that ever really came to fruition. So the Kinect died off for me and obviously for many. Whereas the PlayStation VR, I've played that and I want more. I played an entire 10-hour game in VR, and I didn't really think that I would because I was still a little bit skeptical based on, you know, thinking it might be just a fad, because the last couple of months, all I've had to play on it were silly little games and demos, which were fantastic, but passing fads. But I've got a little bit of hope, but I am a bit fearful.
Another big one coming out real soon. There's a couple that are getting VR compatibility, which I think is going to have to be crucial. If VR only games, obviously, should be between the $15 and $25 mark on the PlayStation Store. They belong there in a sense. But if AAAs are coming out, just like Resident Evil, it should be compatible either with a control TV / PSVR, because we're getting Ace Combat and the new Dirt Rally. They're both going to be VR compatible, but also compatible without it. Yeah,
usable with or without.
So you're only restricted to everything in first person, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so look, I would love that all first-person games came with VR compatibility on the PlayStation, and also on your PC as well, because it is across there with the Vive and Oculus. We'll just pop over to the comments again. Where are we up to? Hey guys, VR in its current format, I agree it's not going to last too long, but I'm confident it will lead to a more stable and long-lasting platform. That was from Ram, one of our admins. Oh, it's like, as much as that's a fair comment, I really hope that's wrong. I really hope that this takes off, because obviously I've invested.
You've got a financial investment in this. So.
That's right. And I promise you that it's not my investment that is pushing my impression of the actual VR, because I at least won't lie to myself, and I wouldn't have played the whole game of Resident Evil 7 in VR had I not enjoyed it. Because, an actual fact, half the reason that we'll kill VR is the pain in the ass of setting the thing up. If I want to play a VR game, I've got to go and get my swivel chair from the computer room, because it's better on a swivel chair. I've got to put that in the middle of the lounge room. I've got to unplug the setup to my PS4, because the PS4 and the VR doesn't support HDR pass-through, so I unplug it every time I'm finished with it. So to set it up, put the power on, put it on the head, blah, 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 it's a pain in the ass. So for me to actually go through that every single time I wanted to play it, mind you, I did leave it all connected up when I was actually playing through the game. But to set it up and play a game in VR, it's an investment. And it's one that I'm willing to do because it is actually pretty good.
Pretty cool technology, definitely.
It is. It does, and it works really well. Kyle says Insomniac Games created or is creating a game with spells like Harry Potter. Don't know if that excites me too much. Paul says we demo it and people are impressed, but not enough to buy it. Yes, because it is overpriced. Very overpriced. Snoogan says VR will be best utilised in games where you're driving something. Gran Turismo will be the big tell. Yeah, I think driving, flying, and first-person shooters or first-person style games, they're going to be the strong points. Now, there are obviously games where you can play as an overseer and you can be in VR and watch your little minions do whatever they're doing, which is good. But that one, I don't think that'll draw people in at all. The Kinect is only good for voice control. That was from Paul. Xbox Play, pause, etc. It's probably the only thing that I still use Kinect for.
I was about to say, you're fucking Exhibit A for that.
Yeah, I have my Kinect, and that's about all I use it for. Anyone tried Final Fantasy 15 VR? No, I haven't. I actually forgot that existed.
Yeah, Ross.
Can
Luke
you play?
Pledged to only play good games.
Can you play the VR right off the bat, or do you have to get up to it?
From what I've seen, I think you'd have to get up to it.
Yeah, if you can play it straight off the bat, I'll play it, but I'm not playing. I don't enjoy that game. So, Ace Combat, you'd love to try that, Paul says. Yeah, I think that'd be good. You'd probably throw up a few times, but whatever.
But that game that actually looks the goods too. I will say quietly.
All right. Right. Well, Ross wants to have a say. We can get him in on. Do you want? Let's get Ross in.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, you don't. Red doesn't want you in the chat, Ross. Sorry, man. Unlucky for him, I'm in charge. All right, we're bringing in Ross. And we'll see what Ross has to say. He's coming. All right. Well, first of all, we'll see. Well, if Ross is available straight up, we'll see what he wants to. You there, Ross?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Excellent.
Okay, very good. What is it? It's DLC, as far as I know. Not sure how it will work. Is it available now? Do you know, Ross? The Final Fantasy VR.
The Final Fantasy VR?
Yeah.
Not yet. It's a DLC coming soon.
Ah, right, gotcha. Okay, so it probably will be playable straight off the bat. But anyway, say hello, Ross.
Hello, everyone. How are we all?
We are all fantastic. Welcome to the Age Live, our first attempt at something like this, and you're our first guest. How are you, man?
Fuck you, Ross.
I'm good.
Yeah, just for those listening, Red isn't being mean to Ross. Ross is actually a good friend of ours, so Red feels that it's necessary to be an arse.
Yes, it's
awesome.
most common form of my affection.
Arse. Robert Whyte says, "Hey, Ross." That's our BobKat.
Robert and Paul. Yeah, I got the comments coming up on my Facebook as well at the same time. Still, whilst I'm talking to you guys here.
Lovely.
Dedicated.
Rightio, Ross. What did you want to comment on?
I want to get on this VR stuff a little bit.
Cool. What are you thinking?
I don't have one myself, and probably not going to get one myself at this stage either. But I think it's one of those things that if the right games and titles and stuff come along, it could be worth investing in. But right now, as you were saying beforehand, Luke, there's just too many gimmicky, I guess you can call it, demos and mini game type things, and nothing that really wants to get me in on actually buying it. Yeah,
well, there's a little add-on to Battlefront, which was pretty damn good, where you get to fly around in an X-wing and the big Star Destroyers come overhead, and it's a really, really good experience. But that's all it is. It's just an experience. It's a taste. It's a teaser. I want a full game of that. Give me 10 hours of that, because it worked really
Rogue
well.
Squadron VR.
Yeah, that needs to exist, and that's what will sell VR, because people will play that, and it'll be more than just a 5-minute experience. It'll be something that you can play through, do a story, and have a good time with. That needs to happen, but it's not yet. Anyone
Agreed, Veron?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, as I said,
you've got the floor, buddy.
Yeah, I've got the floor, do I? Rightio. This could be dangerous then. As I said, to me at this stage, it's one of those things that I'm not interested in buying in. But as I said, if the right titles came along and there were enough of them that interested me, I guess, it would be one of those things that, yeah, maybe I would pick up. But it's at this stage not for me, that's for sure. Yeah. I know there's people out there that it is for now, and Lucas being the techie he is, and he's got it now already, so...
Now, Paul Clennett on the page has made a good point. He says they won't till lots of units are out there, which is actually a really good point. Now, there's the statistic that I saw the other day about Resident Evil 7. Now, I think it's sold 2 million units so far, thereabouts. And it sounds really bad, but it says that 2-point-something%. Was it even 2 point? Maybe even less. I can't remember. I don't have it handy. Sorry, I've just thought of it. But it was such a really low number have actually played it in VR or tried it in VR. I was like, ooh, that sounds really, really low. But mind you, that was 70,000 people that tried it in VR, right? That played it in VR. And then it made me think, well, is that because nobody wants to? Or is that because nobody has bought the VR yet? So that could be the issue, where they probably need to maybe do some surveys and say, did you play Resident Evil 7? Yes. Did you play it in VR? No. Why didn't you play it in VR? Because I don't have one yet. Or because I didn't want to. So that could go into different directions, because look, I don't know how much it costs to add VR to a game. So
you'd think a bit.
I would think so, because they're rendering the whole game in 3D. They're also changing the controller layout and the way things work. For example, and I don't know how many parts in the game there were, but there's a section in the game where if you play it on your TV, there's you, then there's a NPC standing in front of you, and then an enemy sneaks up behind the NPC, right? And this is when you're playing it on the TV, and then he jumps out from behind the NPC, right, and stuff happens. Whereas when you're playing in VR, because your head can move, you can look around the NPC and it ruins the fright because you can see him coming. Whereas, so what they've done, they make him fade in at the last minute rather than walk in.
Yeah.
So you can't see it coming. But it's things like that need to be altered. And there's probably a shit ton of things within the game that need to be altered so it works properly in VR. But there are some things as well that I didn't like about playing it on the TV that made it a lot better in VR. There were sections where you had to shimmy across a tight wall. When you go into a little tight area in a game and it'll go into an animation and you'll slide in sideways. When you were playing it on your TV, you had to look straight ahead. Whereas when you're on VR, you could look to the left and look through the cracks of the wall and kind of see what was on the other side, which was pretty cool. It was a shame you couldn't turn your head on the normal TV version, but yeah. So there are a lot of things that need to be considered when converting a game to VR, but. I'm all for it as long as the developers keep pushing it regardless of sales. then it might eventually gain some traction. But I'm just really hope that it doesn't go down the path of Kinect. Let's see. Paul, he doesn't know anyone who has the PlayStation VR, and Portal VR would be great. Ooh, Portal in VR would probably make me sick, but I would
Nauseous.
I would probably play it. Oh, imagine standing outside of the portal and poking your head in.
Oh wow, yeah, and you actually get that phase.
Yeah, that would be sick. Now you're onto something. That would be a third installment in a what do you call it? A Valve game, which we all know they don't exist. So maybe that will probably. What'd you say?
Not unless Donald Trump passes the law that Valve has to make a Half-Life 3.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Our Lord and Saviour.
All right, what else you got? Did you want to comment on any of the other stuff, Ross?
Not at this stage. I'll stick around and I'll keep talking with you guys, if that's all right.
No, we're going to kick you out. We're going to make room for other people, brother.
Oh, all good.
We got any last words? Red's giving him the finger.
The two yeah, rightio. Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us, Ross. Love you,
no
man.
worries, guys. Take it easy.
Catch ya. Alrighty, BobKat. Now you're keen. Would you like us? Are you free? You free from your chores and finished the boss? But we'll kick another. What are you giggling at?
Yeah, you finished your chores, you've done your jobs, buddy. You can play your games now.
Yep, I've done my chores for the day. Let's kick off another topic if everybody's had their say on VR.
Yeah.
Video game violence is harmful to children. This one probably will resonate a little bit more with the parents out there. But, Red, give me your opinion on that, please.
Oh, well, it's potentially harmful. But how many cartoons do you see these days that are rated PG because they're stylized animated violence? And I think our kids are a lot more desensitized than we were at their ages. And do they make them violent? No. Does it give them creative ways to be violent? Hopefully. But yeah, well, look, it's an age-old question, you know. Does it make them violent? There's no way you can clinically trial it, test it, and get a definitive answer. But I'm going with no, only because I'd like to think positively. But at the end of the day, if it does, then ultimately we, the parents that are supplying the children with the games that they shouldn't be playing, should be held accountable,
Right.
somewhere or another.
All right. Well, we're getting BobKat on the line, so he's calling through at the moment. He'll jump in very shortly. But for me, I think, well, is it harmful? That's the word I think that is the most important there. Like, are we hurting them?
G'day.
Oh, hello, BobKat. Hello.
How are we, Jim?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you? I think this is kind of like a Channel 7 satellite cross where it's going to be a slight delay, but bear with us and just make sure you turn the volume down on your live stream if you still got it running.
Done.
Wonderful. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad.
Sounds
Chipping
good.
away at a boss and had to aid a kid that squirted hand soap in his eye.
Yes. Well,
Yeah, it's been great.
that's quite topical for what we're about to talk about. BobKat, we're talking about video game violence is harmful to children. Now, you've got kids.
Yeah, bullshit.
Only when they stand in front of the fucking TV.
Well, BobKat, tell us what's your opinion on that one.
I think I'm with a lot of people on this one, and it's really up to the parents. Whoever provides their children with said violent video game should be held accountable. I mean, they've got ratings on them, just like a movie does. You wouldn't let a kid watch an R-rated movie. Don't let them play an R-rated game. Pretty simple.
Yeah. Now, Paul in the chat just said we needed an R rating, and we got it, but the stores don't abide by it. Well, that is a good point.
Yeah.
The stores have got a lot to show for that as well. But I think that the harmful, as in hurting the children, I don't know. maybe video game violence has an effect on children. Whether it's harming them, I don't know. It all depends on the individual child, and that's like what you said, BobKat. It all comes down to the parents, and the parents need to monitor that. And if you don't think that your child is suitable for whatever game you're playing, then don't let them play it. Like, I've played games with my daughter which are like cartoon stylized violence. I played a little bit of Mother Russia Bleeds with her. Now, there's blood everywhere, there's gore everywhere, but it's all cartoony stuff, and it's really quite silly what you're looking at. Whereas I wouldn't allow her to watch me play a game like Resident Evil, because it's realistic violence and realistic gore. And for me personally, one of the main reasons why I wouldn't want her watching that is because she's young. She's 8 years old. I don't want her having nightmares. That's pretty much it. Some other games I wouldn't want her playing because it's harmful to me, her watching that, because I don't want her going to school and swearing and saying words that she hears from the games and stuff like that, because then, the school's going to ring me up and go, "What's going on?" And that's harmful to me, because I'll then tell a teacher to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. What did she say? She told a teacher to go F themselves. Oh, you're fucking joking.
Where do you fucking learn that language? But yeah, look, as for harming the children...
With my son,
you
should probably notice, he loves Lego games, like Jurassic World in particular. He loves dinosaurs, but the way they say you got the video game adaptation of the movie, instead of someone getting eaten and ripped in half by a dinosaur, they just land in their mouth and then they end up brushing their teeth, and it just becomes a bit comical rather than gory. But
they're little Lego
watched me
figurines.
play like The Division and stuff like that, and afterwards he goes, "Oh, that was a cool game." I'm like, "Yeah, but would you want to go around shooting people?" And he's like, "No,
not today."
So, not today.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. Is are our children watching any of this violence in video games, and then actually wanting to act them out? See, that's a different thing altogether, and that also comes down to the parenting there. As long as it's made sure that it's well known that this is a ridiculous thing that we're watching. It's right. It's not what. No, the only reason this is happening is because it's not real. We're not going to go and do this ourselves. And if you're passing that message on to your children and making sure that they're enlightened and smart and intelligent enough to understand the difference between make-believe and real life, then the child will grow up to be, a reputable part of society. But if you're just sort of giving them absolutely nothing and throwing them in front of violence, they're going to be confused, and there's going to be issues there.
If they're going to see something, they need feedback on it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so I'm just going to run through some comments here. What do we got here? Paul says, if it was true, I'd be a serial killer. Yeah, I think most of us here would with some of the games that we've played. He protects his kids from the bad stuff, Paul does, which is probably what most of us do. We allow our kids to play a little bit of the bad stuff, but, there's obviously a line. Some feral parents don't care, which is very true. I've seen that firsthand. And Paul says, I got sick of parents buying GTA for a 10-year-old. Now, I think Paul must work. He must, or used to, or currently sells video games or video game stuff. I'm not 100% sure.
Alright.
But he got told off and told to mind his own business when he said that it wasn't suitable. Well, there you go. That's the way it is. But
the video game store attendants they can only do so much.
Yeah,
I suppose, especially if an overage person is the one purchasing it.
Well, that's right.
Like cigarettes, you can't send a kid in to buy a pack of cigarettes.
But if a parent can go in there and buy it for him, then that's as far as you can go. But yeah, not much you can do if mum and dad are just going, no, I'm buying this for my kid so he stops whinging, blah, blah, blah. But look, I wouldn't even think that the GTA 5 probably isn't one of the worst ones that kids can be playing. I mean, it's got horrible language in it, and some, like with the campaign, some pretty over-the-top violent scenes, but there's worse out there. There are games that have a lot more in there that'll probably scare the shit out of kids.
Yeah. Even maybe, say, even game developers implementing some kind of parental lock on certain content in the game, sort of like what was it Modern Warfare 2 did in that No Russian level, where you chose not to kill all the civilians.
Yeah,
you can turn blood off in a lot of games.
Yeah, it's not so much a parental thing, it's more of just an option to not play that level altogether. But I think the parents, well, with respect to all of us here listening, I'm pretty sure most of us have got a bit of a grasp on it, but a lot of the consoles have actually do have parental settings, whereas on the PlayStation 4, you can set an account so it won't launch games past a certain rating. So if
I've got that set up on Xavier's.
Yeah, so if you set it to M15, it won't play R games. If you send it to G or PG or whatever it is, it won't play M15 or R games. And that, I think, is probably underutilized. I'm not exactly sure about the Xbox. I'm pretty sure it probably does. If Rem's watching, she might back me up here. But I know the Nintendo has had pretty good parental things as well. The Switch is apparently going to have some pretty decent settings where you can actually control it from a smartphone app, what your kid plays and for how long, which is pretty cool. I got some more comments here. Ross said, my sister is annoyed because the RWBY Grim Eclipse has been delayed in Australia on console for its graphic content. How annoying, and she's 20 now. What's that? What game's that? RWBY.
What did you say?
RWBY Grim Eclipse. I've not heard that. Heard of that.
I think it stands for Robert Whyte. Boo yeah.
Boo yeah.
That's a good game. Must be gory. Paul says that.
JRPG.
Oh right. Oh. There you go. It must be a bit shocking. GTA 5 shocked me with the C-bombs. Yes, Paul, there is a particular scene that I had in mind where the C-bomb was said over and over and over and over again, just like it was a sentence. And for me, as an adult, I thought it was hilarious. Eric Mason says, isn't the parents' job to explain what's happening because they don't understand? They just copy what they see on the screen. Yes, correct. However, I'd like to think that, if a child is in the right frame of mind to be playing said scary, violent, profanity-found game or what have you, that the child should be already prepped for that kind of thing. You understand the intelligence level of your own children. Is my kid going to get this, or is my kid going to come away from this confused and repeat things they don't understand? Should make that judgment. It's where that judgment's never made that you probably get issues. But yes, it is the parent's job, because who else is going to do it, really? Yes, Xbox does have child settings on it. Thanks, Ross Mark. I got a comment from Shannon. We need more kid games to hit the market. I mean, when I was a kid, I played Spyro the Dragon, Crash, and Medieval. Yeah, I end up getting into the old Resident Evil, things like that. But myself, got to hit more. Here we go. And my family knew I could handle them. See, that's the thing. The parents know what the kids can handle, and you let them play them for that reason and that alone. And it's probably doesn't really work that way for everyone. Any other comments on any of the other topics, BobKat?
Which ones did we have?
We have talked about video games being a waste of time. What do you tell people that say that?
No different to anyone else watching a game of football, is it?
Well, it's not, is it? That's it. You spend a couple of hours watching the footy. I play video games. Some people do both.
Exactly.
What about virtual reality not being any more than a fad? What do you think about that?
Well, don't have it, so I can't really make a educated comment on it. But I think it's something that will progressively get more and more, widespread.
Mainstream.
I don't think it's going to take off. Yeah, that's the word.
I hope so.
I don't think it's going to, take off like a firework or anything. Just mainly due to the expense initially.
Well, that's it. I hope it does get a bit cheaper so more people get it. And my $700, I don't even care that I've paid heaps for it. I just want it to keep going because I did pay a lot for it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to another topic, and we'll look at finishing up fairly shortly. But we'll keep you around, BobKat, for this one. This one I'm pretty passionate about. Paid DLC should be an encore demanded by a game's success and not part of the game on release.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Because if I rewind back to my Xbox 360 days, I played a game that was called Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. Do any of you guys remember that?
Andy Serkis.
That's right. Yeah, Andy Serkis was the main voice character for Monkey, who was also
The Oracle.
Gollum in Lord of the Rings. Yeah. So that's the game, and it was kind of like an Uncharted-esque kind of game where it was like an adventure game, and it was really good, and I loved it. And they brought out DLC for it, but there was absolutely no expectation that game was going to get DLC. But because it had a bit of a cult following, the DLC was released. Now the DLC wasn't received very well, and that's where it ended. It didn't get another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. It was literally just that first one. And also back in the day, going back to the original Call of Duty, we got one, I think there was maybe 2 DLC packs, which were about $5 each. And that was because of the success of the game. They had more. And now, today, it's just become, all right, I'm buying this game for $100. I'm going to be up for $160 by the time everything's out if I want to stay up to date and play with all my friends.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's their way of driving the price up while still fooling us into thinking we're still paying the odd $79, $89, but we're not. A big game comes out.
The thing that annoys me is you get your day one release. Then you can upgrade to the season pass. You think, oh, I'm saving money, which you generally are, if you get that day one with the game. But what if the game turns out to be a flop? Is there any refund on that?
Absolutely
Watch
not. Dogs. Well, no, there's not. That's it. That's the gamble you're taking by buying a season pass. I'm totally, well, not totally, but I'm partially against it. I don't like it. I don't like that DLC is a given for just about every single game. And I'm annoyed that DLC these days is predominantly multiplayer only. What's up, Red?
Yeah.
I'm happy for games to have DLC. Season passes, but DLC as a separate entity, like one-off purchase, I'm fine with that. But you've got your Call of Duties, every single racing car game now, Battlefield, Star Wars stuff, Battlefront, everything, all these first-person shooters and everything are guaranteed to drop 4 packs of 4 different maps or levels or stuff like this, and you hit the nail on the head trying to keep up with your mates. I buy a season pass to Call of Duty in another alternate universe, and you didn't. It's going to be really hard when we jump on together to try and find a game.
Yeah.
Because it segregates.
But then
I
if you want to
was
play
talking
with
to
me...
you, Robert, yesterday on the page. The DLC structure that Ubisoft are coming up with now. Like your Rainbow Six Siege, For Honor. You can buy the season pass and get immediate access to it. You can get it a week in advance to everyone else. But any maps that come out and any additional characters / units that come out are all accessible by non-DLC owners as long as you're willing to put in the time to get the in-game currency and purchase them for yourself.
Yeah, so that's a good way.
So I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe it's just because I'm a tight ass, but I'm quite happy with the free LC with in-game currency.
Yeah, man, like, fuck. These games, like the two I just mentioned, you can go and spend copious amounts of real money, proper money, on vanity items. Like, you want to get an elite-looking character in Rainbow Six Siege, you're up for $12 each. But that's a choice. It doesn't make you play any better. It's not if it's not a pay-to-win structure, and this is where microtransaction comes into it. What's the definition of microtransaction? Back in the day, it was $1.09 when you're buying an app on your phone. But now your $12, $15, your COD points and your Rainbow Six renown and all this sort of stuff. A microtransaction goes from anywhere from $15 to $100.
Not so micro anymore.
I'm happy for DLC. I'm not sold on season passes.
Fair enough.
Because as you said, it's an encore. I'm only looking at Fallout 4 DLC now. And I'm playing it for a second time.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Nice. Paul Clennett, I think I've got to read this out to you, Red. Watching the West Coast Eagles is a waste of time.
Oh, so many things I could say to stay, but political correctness governs what I can and can't say. So I'm going to go with, fuck you.
He's got it wrong, though. You've typed in Eagles instead of Coolers.
Spoken like a true Collingwood supporter, that is.
Oh, not me. I was going to say, do I support Collingwood?
No.
Which one's Collingwood? Are they the blue one?
The Magpies. Eddie Maguire, black and white stripes.
Red, are you picking your nose?
Yeah, there's no video, is there?
I can see the video. They can't.
Sucked in. It's fucking itchy as fuck. That shit comment that just come through about West Coast, we clogged up crap in my nose, so I thought I'd get it out.
No, there's no video. You're good, man. All good. DLC is a con, says Paul.
Yeah.
And what else have we got here? Shannon's happy with all types of DLC, but not the price tag that comes with them. Yep, agreed with that. Ross Mark says paid DLC needs to be worth it. Add a lot of extra content and just not build on what was released originally. God, I can't read. Otherwise, it should be free DLC, and yes, there is a spot for paying for weapons, skins, and things like that if people want to buy them. I agree with that. That's fine. My issue is not enough DLC that I'm interested in. I want more single-player content, but that's me personally. Just about every game that comes out with DLC, it's extra maps for multiplayer. I'm not going to get anything out of that because I'm not a big multiplayer player. I want more story content. I want more side missions. I want more of the stuff that I want. That's what I'll pay money for. That's why I bought the season pass for some games that are just single player. But the multiplayer stuff doesn't really work for me much. Paul says, be nice for a game to be finished at launch with an 8GB patch. Yeah, that's true.
Agreed.
And Eric says, well said, Lucas. All right, we might let you go, BobKat. Thank you very much for joining us. Unless you've got something you want to say before you go?
No, thanks for having me.
No worries. It is my pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much for coming on board. Go and give us a hashtag BAM for Red. BobKat.
In the chat?
Fuck Red. No, right here live.
Oh, fuck me.
Bam! Bam! Wow, he's really good at them.
Yeah.
Tassie thing.
That's right, you're both Tassies. That is a Tassie thing. All right, BobKat, thank you very much. We'll catch you later.
All right. Cheers, guys. See ya.
See you, legend.
He's really good at those BAMs, dude.
BAM!
Oh, you can't beat the original and the best, but he's pretty good. That's not bad. All right, couple more minutes until we finish up, Red. But got any last words, or if there's anyone else that wants to sneak in the last couple of minutes with a phone call, send us your number. If not, we'll catch you for next time. But that was
Podcast's
good.
being recorded tomorrow.
Oh, it is. Yes, let's tell them that. So we've got the podcast tomorrow. I've got a review coming up tomorrow. Oh, man, I'm doing this review at the moment for the Edifier speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I've been watching them back. Like, it's a good review. It looks good. It's nearly ready. But I keep watching it back and finding mistakes and going, oh, shit, I have to fix that. Like typos in the things that come up on the screen. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
And also I fix it. I re-render the video and I play it again. And I said to my wife, like, I've just fixed the typo. And it's playing. She goes, oh, is that the typo there? I'm like, no, that's another one.
Even Superman's got to put his undies in the wash once a week.
That's right. But that's coming very, very soon. Maybe tomorrow. They'll be up soon. They're good speakers, dude.
Yes.
The subwoofer on it is massive. If you watch the video, you can actually see when I'm getting the subwoofer out. I'm struggling because it's really heavy. I didn't have me spinach and wheat bix that day, but oh, jeez, it's heavy. It's good though. Real good. Good speakers. What do we got? A couple of more comments. Book me in for next week for a chat. All right, no worries. If we do one next week, this isn't going to be a regular thing because we just got to make sure we've got the time to do it. But next time we do have a chance, we definitely want you on, Paul, because you sound like you've got some good stories to share. And you do need to practice the BAMs because we are going to put you on the spot if you get on the show. We didn't get Ross to do it. We'll have to do that next time. We'll get Ross to give us his hashtag BAM, see if he's any good.
Mm-hmm. Doubt it.
But no, and Ross, you'll get on and go, hashtag MAB.
Mad because he's a backwards fuck.
Backwards. Yeah, they look smart. They do look smart. It looks really cool. Hashtag not likely. What's not likely that he'd say it like that? Pfft, whatever. I'll edit it and reverse it or something. Alright, Red. That was good fun. We've got still got some good topics that we'll do for the next Age Live. Thank you very much to everyone that has joined us and everyone that watches this back on Facebook or YouTube if I manage to get it on there. You're all absolute legends. Red, say some nice things before we go.
Okay. Some nice things. Okay. You want to try and win a game? I'll give you a clue to what's that sound this week from the podcast. It's not Final Fantasy 15.
No, it's not.
Bam.
We have got some correct answers that came through today. I haven't had a chance to reply to them, but we have got some good ones. So people wrong though, because it is a tricky one. But yeah, so we're recording the podcast, the next podcast. What is it, 157?
Tomorrow morning, yeah.
Just tomorrow morning. We're recording that one tomorrow, so that'll be a bit of fun. And the shows are going to keep coming at you. We got a good reception for the first one back for the year, didn't we?
Yes.
That's
Yes,
cool.
we did actually. I don't know the exact numbers yet, but on the posts themselves.
Well, it's only been out for a day, and it's probably at where we're normally at for after a week.
Yeah. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly. I think that's what it is. I think people actually enjoy our show. Ross, nobody said Final Fantasy 15. That was Red just being funny.
It's another game called Gullible.
Oh no. Paul said the weather report was funny. Aussie Gamers Express, the weather is hot.
Yeah, fucking 5 podcasts we plugged that day.
Oh, you know, it's cooling down a little bit in Sydney. It's 39 degrees now.
Fucking look out.
What is it in Burnie?
In Burnie right now. Oh, it's gone up. It's 20.
Get out. Let me
Yeah.
I'm having a look.
Oh, you can't see it. South Burnie, partly sunny, 20 degrees Celsius.
I've got 18 on my app.
Well, it went from 18 to 20.
Okay, well there you go. All right, Gullibles Travels. Yeah, mate, that's all you. And Robert BobKat Whyte says, yeah, the podcast was a blast. Wonderful. All right, well, that's all we've got time for tonight. Thank you to everybody for joining us with our first Age Live, and we'll catch you guys next time. Red, see you later, buddy.
You too, Cobber.
How do I stop
Oh,
this?
and everyone else. Boy.
See you later.